Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Wednesday, April 2nd. I'm about to do the sitting for the fourth sitting in this series, the day four. And I'm going to put this up first. This is a added part of the introduction, which will be self-explanatory when I put it up. But because of the fact that YouTube doesn't recommend two videos or notify you on two videos, those of you who are waiting for the fourth video, just check back in the channel. It'll be up probably around 1 o'clock today or something like that, maybe before then. But if you're looking for the fourth video, I'm putting the introduction up first because it might have some importance about how you do these sittings. And the introduction will then take a place to the second video in the playlist. All right, so here's the introduction. Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. Very intense experience I'm having with. I've done two of the sittings. I'm about to do as a preceptor sitting four, but I've done one and two. I meditated last night, had very intense dreams, and definitely going through like deeper cleaning stuff, which is good. And I realized that you could do. So I'm going to add this as a like an auxiliary part, an extra part of the introduction, and put it towards the top of the second video in this list. You can do two of the sittings in one day if you want it. And so I thought I would say these things here. They're kind of important. And I've also just covered this in the Journey series, but I have to restate this in a more introductory way to this video playlist. And so the old time when Sahaj Marg was existed and the master was there, Chargy, they said you should not take an individual sitting after group meditation, 4 hours after group meditation. So if you had group sats on at 9 in the morning, you couldn't take this individual sitting to, what would that be, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 1 o'clock. So 4 hours, and that's because these sittings you have to digest the sittings, and the sittings have to set, like they have to, whatever it is, not just the group meditation, but the individual sittings. And so, there's a discipline to this thing. And, for the thing to work, like the three sittings in one day is a very specific type of cleaning, right? But you can't take them like an hour apart. That would just make no sense. And so the cleaning has to work. Like sometimes the sittings trigger something in your internal world, and stuff gets expressed, and you might come out of the sitting feeling restless, but the sitting has to settle in and set, and you have to digest it. And sometimes you feel like, oh, I still feel gross or whatever. But the sitting is just, it's not, like one time Babaji cleaned Charji and said, he cleaned his fear, and Charji said there was a dark face just like his that was removed. Like Babaji kept on saying, I cleaned 10% of your fear today, I complete 30%. And Charji said, you keep on saying this, mine is to clean it all. And so Babaji said, all right, sit in meditation, and he pulled this dark face away from him. And then Babaji said, but you still have the memory of fear that you have to deal with. The fear itself is gone, but the memory of it is still there, or whatever. The other thing I wanted to say, and I just said this in the Journey series, there are people who were so sensitive, Babaji being the premier one, that they would see the work the preceptor or the master was doing on the points. They would see it, they would experience it. Some people are more visual. Babaji used to anticipate the next spiritual stage that Lalaji was going to pull him through before he did. And he'd prepare himself, he'd adjust himself and make himself ready for that journey, that internal journey, because he anticipated what was going to happen and he was ready for it. And that's like, the standard. Like that's what, we should all to aspire to. Have that level of anticipation and spiritual awareness to know the next stage and when it's going to happen and how to make ourselves as much, get rid of any kind of resistance and prepare for something, accept it, and be grateful for it, before it even happens. And so, there's people who would fake things and make things up because they just either were, doing it for personal aggrandizement or just, being whatever, like just how people are. So, those are the two things. Like people would pretend to know more than they did or whatever. They would say they had experiences they didn't have, and I think I'm in this point now, and this stuff. And it wasn't true. It's like it's just always a mess. But there is that level of sensitivity. And so these sittings have, there's some level of, you know, like just absorbing the sitting and letting it, run its course inside your internal system. There's time Babaji gave the guy, he raised him 4 points and he said he wouldn't have to meditate for a month or 3 months. And, there was 3 months for him to digest all the things that Babaji had bestowed on him. I mean, the guy got a bad headache. I mean, there's some effects from having that much evolution. Lalaji had to stop him. Babaji was going to raise him 7 points, but like you said, you'll kill him if you do that. So, he had to, Lalaji was in this, etheric world, came down and said, you're doing too much here. And so, these sittings can be done like 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, if people want to do it that way, and do it over a 3-day period. But no more than that. And, it's a good idea for all these things. Like people, I think, are misusing some of the sittings on the Gratefullness meditation, and they lose their, they just won't work. It like there's some level of, doing the sittings and letting the work happen. Individual sittings. I mean, given how crazy it is, there's these intensive cleanings that you need every once in a while, or when you're going through personal stuff. And then there might be times that you could get sitting every day. Either the individual stuff, there's the one on Tuesday, and then there's group meditation on Sunday. And then there's more sittings that you can do, but like one person was using the individual sitting for their personal practice. And I just, again, it's, this is there's no master of the system, and there's so many things that don't exist. I don't know what to say about it, but I don't think like that's a good idea. Like it's just, it should be used in a way that's, appropriate to the system. Like it's, like letting the things run their course and do what they have to do. You feel particularly gross, and you can do the 3 sittings in one day. Like you're feeling heavier, you're going through something that you think needs deeper cleaning, and you can do that, over consecutive days. But also, wait till the thing. It's like you're eating a meal after you've already eaten a meal. Like you don't want to, like the Greek used to, purge the meal and then so they could eat more. They stick a feather down their throat, this type of thing. And so, like, it's not like that. Like, it shouldn't be a something like that. But, the sittings could be done it doesn't have to be like every day's the same. You could do 1 sitting one day and 2 the next, as long as there's appropriate space between them. And you're kind of, managing it. Like, you're thinking it from a higher perspective. Like, this is what I need to do, that if you want to make it more, a shorter period. I mean, it could be a scheduling thing as well. Like just in terms of what people can do, if they have to skip a day because they don't have time to do the sitting. But you can always do it like before you go to bed or whatever. So they're only a half hour. But either way, they're just not like 3 a day or 4 a day or all 7 in one day. Nothing like that, but 2 a day. All right, so I'm going to add this to the playlist, and then I'm going to do the meditation. I got a few other things to get going on. And so I'll probably put like I'm going to definitely put my journey series up that I'm covering my experience I'm talking about each day, after I'm doing it. And that'll be up here. I'll put it on this channel. And also, it'll be in this playlist. And then there'll be also maybe a follow-up, like afterthoughts about the thing that we're doing here. And so I feel pretty positive about it from my own experience. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalaughs and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.